YouTube Galaxy FM/TV. Wagwan, Pam.
Good, what's up?
Good. Wagwan. What do
So
we have happening in this beautiful
we're
country?
still talking about the Pope. Of course, we've seen so many eulogies coming through from several countries, from presidents, from our own people here. We've seen them talk about. We are waiting an official letter also from the president. Of course, he's probably drafting something. So maybe by the end of business today, we'll also be seeing a statement from the president. He's supposed to. If he has mourned several other leaders, what about the Pope, who he welcomed himself at the airport in 2015? So definitely he's going to have something to say. His is usually deep. It will be based on history. It will be based on something to do with maybe religion and advice here and there. You know how he does his things. Anyhow, so today what's happening is the Vatican has released a picture of the Pope in a coffin. I don't know if you've seen that picture. He's in a coffin. He's in a red robe. And he's also in, I think that something on his head, and he's holding a rosary. And the picture is he's an open, coffin. And what's happening also right now at the Vatican is there's a meeting for the Cardinals. It started at 10 a.m. And this meeting is supposed to discuss a number of issues. For instance, when the Pope is supposed to be buried.
The exact date?
The date of his burial, because he's going to be buried at then when they're going to move his body to St. Peter's Basilica for public viewing as well. Then they'll be discussing, of course, the date of funeral is between 4 and 6 days, like you said yesterday. That is when they come out with it, and it will be a national day for mourning as well. And then the funeral expenses, they'll be discussing things like when the conclave is going to start, that is the voting process for the Cardinals. So those are some of the issues that they'll be discussing. So at the end of this meeting, they'll be giving us a statement as the Vatican to tell us exactly what we know or what they know and what's supposed to be followed. But of course, many people are flocking St. Peter's Square.
Definitely.
Because from his time of death, the morning starts and there are services from the day until the day he's buried.
The day before he died, the vice president of the United States, J.D. Vance had gone to visit him, and oh boy.
You know, there's people who are talking.
My God.
A lot of things on social media. They're both saying that in the 1900s, J.D. Vance's meeting with the Pope would be considered witchcraft. Because
definitely.
He met him and then he died a few hours later.
I went to his X platform, what we formerly called Twitter. Almost as
the events.
But he also looks like he really doesn't care. First of all, he's having a lot of, I know he's being waka in the US from, different people. And people have issues with his religion. They think he's not Christian and all that. They think it was a political move, but then they're asking, why?
Why would you die? Why would you be the last person
exactly,
to hold a meeting with him?
And then, of course, I was also looking at the video of, you remember when Donald Trump went to visit the Pope?
Yeah.
And he tried to hold his hand like this. Papa Nam go right.
I don't know.
You remember that video?
Yes.
Pope Francis was a good hand slapper. Because I also saw another.
He used you as a sinner. Or what?
No, I also saw another video. I think it was around the Vatican. Services. Ngabuza kubantu then waba omuchala amusiko omukono. Omuchala yamukwata n'amusiko omukono ebiri serious. Obanga ayogera kya mukba. Papa ya mukbobu like how omuntu engeri gy'omwesibako n'omukbobu that's what happened.
But people will rush for people's hands though. Some people by the sample don't even like greeting using their hands because they're so hygienic. They have that thing.
Wotunuulira ka video aka the vice president of the United States ngali ne Papa, a lot of people now start taking you to a certain direction when you read through the comments. They're like, look at the Pope, he's not happy. Why are you there? He's not welcoming you. And I'm like, wow.
Maybe that's just his
when you actually look at the Pope,
he's not happy. He doesn't seem happy.
Exactly. So, yo.
Anyway, there are some rituals that get to happen before the Pope is dead. And of course,
before
X is trending. Or after he's dead, during his mourning process. There are sort of ceremonies, old ceremonies that the Camelengo does. That is the current Pope, the one that is designated to stand as Pope 4 C's during the mourning process. Among them is the destruction of his ring, the fisherman ring.
Yes.
But then there's also one that has got people wondering, the
Which
Pope
one?
being buried in 3 coffins.
Excuse me.
Yeah, in 3 coffins.
Why?
The previous popes have been buried in 3 coffins. One coffin, let me even get those details. One coffin is zinc. Actually, that's the second coffin. There's a first coffin that is, I don't know, it's what? The first coffin is cypress.
Yes.
Wood.
Okay.
Signifies humility. Then the second is zinc for preservation. Then the third is oak for eternity. It symbolizes eternity.
Oak.
So the Pope is usually,
Oak is like a
one of
mineral.
those oldest trees.
Oh,
It's that very hard
yes,
wood.
yes.
So, he's buried in those 3 coffins. And people are wondering, why?
Yeah.
Like, why 3 coffins? Is this weird?
No.
And then the other thing I was wondering is, why do we have 1.3? Okay, we have 1.4 billion Catholics. What are the other 6 billion people in the world? What religions are
Let
they?
me start with you. Which religion are you?
I mean, like 7 billion. We're about 8 billion.
But you know,
now,
one
right?
of the oldest religions is.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's it has the biggest number though, because it's just 1.4 billion people across the world subscribe to Catholicism.
Religion
Me, I'm
is
Anglican.
sensitive. You are, yeah?
Yeah.
Religion, people subscribe to different religions depending on their society. For example, if you look at the population of China, they subscribe to their different religions. Buddhism. Yeah? It depends. It depends on a lot of things. When you go to the Middle East and West Africa and better, but actually most parts of Africa, Islam. When you go to Europe,
one would have thought that
Yes.
would have like maybe 3 billion or 4 billion, you know, because Catholics are really many.
No, they are
Yeah.
many. So that's how big the Pope is. What else do we have?
Today
Yes.
Dr. Kizza Besigye is his birthday, and he's celebrating his 69th birthday in jail. Yeah, I remember last week he appeared in court where the judge Comfort denied him bail, access to bail on grounds that, well, his offenses were too grave. And they feared that if they released them, they would jeopardize investigation somehow because of also of the wide scope of the places that they held meetings, in addition to the charge of treason being grave. So that's the reason he was denied bail. So he's going to be celebrating his 69th birthday. Katonga FTC is holding also a function today, a press meeting, and we are going to see if they will tell us any plans they have for Besigye's birthday celebrations. However, Elias Lukwago is acting president for the Katonga, which they are subscribed to PFF.
Yes.
For him, he's just eulogizing the Pope as, you know, a great person who stood for that was just the start of his address. But I believe in the process of his address, he's going to talk about Kizza Besigye, and probably if they will go visit him, as today is his birthday.
12 amawulire agasinga kusolo gasanga ku kitimba ziri dakiika 19 wetwogerera ze zakavaako ku ssaawa 5 ez'amakya g'olunaku olwaleero. And of course, today being a Tuesday, I'll be asking you later on, what do you need to confess? Kunoti musanvu, emunoti biri. But in the meantime, musawe no woboina ekintu kyonna nga kikutte squeeze. Feel free to let me know ku 07071020102. My name is Mr. Henry, and he's Shensia and Masika with Hit and Run.